NFL fans, what's up? This is C. Hendo back once again for my Week 3 NFL Pick'ems, and I'm also going to give you some fantasy tips. Now, last week I went 14-2, and I feel pretty good about this week. There were a lot of injuries, so prayers up to all those players that were affected by injuries. But let's get to these Pick'ems real quick. So, Thursday night football, we have a AFC East matchup. The Miami Dolphins go on the road to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, for me, I am going to pick Jacksonville in this game. Miami seems to be competitive in some of these games, but I like what Gardner Minshew is doing right now. DJ Shark, who I told you guys last week was a big fantasy pickup for anyone. If you didn't have him, definitely start him. He is a must. Chris Thompson last week, I believe, had a touchdown. I like this Jacksonville team to win this game. Miami, if I'm looking at their team for fantasy-wise, I like the Preston Williams kid. I also like, I'm trying to think if I could think of one more fantasy. Oh, Gesicki. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, the tight end. Man, he had a big week last week, but I am taking Jacksonville in that game. Let me see. I don't know what the spread is, actually. So we're not going to do spreads. We're going to just do pick'ems. All right. So the next matchup, we have the Chicago Bears on the road to face the Atlanta Falcons. And you know what? I am going to take Mitchell Trubisky and those Chicago Bears. The Atlanta Falcons, oh my God, that's not even getting last week. Up 20 points versus Dallas in the first quarter, or at least the first half, first two quarters, and they lost the game. Calvin Ridley had a big game, and I told you guys to play any receiver that faces the Dallas Cowboys defense. This week, they are facing a better Chicago Bears defense. I do think that Calvin Ridley does have another good week, even though Julio Jones is questionable with a hamstring injury, I believe. But I do like Hayden Hurst as well for this team. Now, for the Chicago Bears, we're going to see they just have a lot of weapons on that team. I like Montgomery. Jimmy Graham, I think, is going to have a big week for this team. Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys had a big week last week, I believe, versus the Atlanta Falcons. So I am taking the Chicago Bears in that game. And the next game, we have the Los Angeles Rams and the Buffalo Bills. Now, these are two 2-0 teams. This is going to be a tough game for me to pick, but I am going to go with the home team, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, ladies and gentlemen, threw for his first, I believe, 300-yard game or 400-yard game, whatever it was, last week, had a big week. The prime matchup is going to be Stephon Diggs versus Jalen Ramsey. I am excited to see this matchup. These are two top-tier guys at their position. Definitely going to be a fun matchup to see. And on the other side, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are going to have their day. Have a tough game versus Tre'Davious White, who's one of the best cornerbacks in football. But I do like the Buffalo Bills in this matchup. If I did take a fantasy guy, man, this is going to be a defensive game, I do think. But I do like Cooper Kupp in this game. I do think that Tre'Davious White is going to stick on Robert Woods the whole game. But Cooper Kupp should have a big game. And if I was a Buffalo player, I like Stephon Diggs, man. I like Brown as well. But I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs has a big game for them. And also watch out for Singletary, the running back as well. All right, next matchup, we have the Washington football team versus the Cleveland Browns. All right, Cleveland is at home. Washington's on the road. I'm going to take, when you think Cleveland should win these games, it's very difficult to pick them. I like that front four for the Washington Redskins. With Chase Young, you got Ryan Kerrigan. You got all kind of names on that defensive line that I like a lot. They're going to bring a lot of pressure to Baker Mayfield. Odell showed up last week, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Odell Beckham did show up last week versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go with Cleveland. I do think that Nick Chubb has a big game. So for all you fantasy guys out there, Nick Chubb. I think Austin Hooper is going to have a big game as well. And Njoku is out now, I believe. So we're going to see him, I think, have his first big game. So I like those two guys for Cleveland, obviously. Two very known names, but I'll take those two. And for Washington, man, I like McLaurin. We're going to see what he does versus Ward. That's a good matchup right there for the sakes of it. Man, we're going to see. Gibson is another fantasy steel running back I think that you got to play this week. So, yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland in that game. The next matchup, we have the Tennessee Titans going against the Minnesota Vikings. I am taking the Tennessee Titans in this game. The Vikings looked putrid last week versus the Colts. Oh, my God, Dalvin Cook didn't have a big week last week at all. I do think he has a bounce back week, but that Tennessee defense is really something special. I like them. Man, Derrick Henry, I think, is going to have a big game. I also told you guys last week to watch out for the tight end, John Brown. And I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. I'm sorry. It may not be John Brown, but the tight end, John Smith, I believe. Yeah, John Smith is one of my definitely fantasy sleepers throughout the year. I like the tight end a lot. And I could be saying his name wrong. Sorry if I'm having a brain fart, but I am taking Tennessee in that game. If I did take a Minnesota player for fantasy sakes, I think Dalvin Cook does have a better week than last week. And I'm definitely going to be on the tight end for the Tennessee again. Of course, Derrick Henry is a must play. And yeah, man, we're going to see if Corey Davis has a big week with A.J. Brown being injured. So that's definitely going to be a big matchup. All right, next matchup. We got the surprising 2-0 Las Vegas Raiders go on the road to face the New England Patriots. Man, the Las Vegas Raiders have really played well. I like this team a lot right now. They got a lot of offensive weapons. Jacobs is definitely a fantasy player this week. Obviously, you got Ruggs, who did have an injury week 1. I think he's going to have a pretty good week if he's playing this week. I like several different players on this team, man. They got Nelson Aguilar. The list goes on. They got Hunter Renfrow. They got all kind of weapons. Waller, the tight end, definitely play Waller. But then I look at New England. They are at home. They did take a loss last week versus Seattle, but Cam Newton has played really well. Julian Edelman looked good out there. Prayers up to James White, ladies and gentlemen. James White, father was killed in a car crash. I don't know the status of his mother right now, but prayers up to James White. And for that sake, I do think that the New England Patriots are going to win this game for James White. I don't know his status for the game. But yeah, man, you definitely want to play Julian Edelman. I like the receiver Harry on the outside as well. We're going to see. I think this could be a high-scoring game, but I'm going to take New England. All right, next matchup, we got the San Francisco Giants versus the San Francisco 49ers. Then the Giants are at home. Now, the thing about this game is this. It should be easy to pick the San Francisco Giants, but with the injuries to Joey Bosa, who's going to be out for the season, it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. This is a tough deal for them, man. This is a tough one. They lost a lot, and I believe Thomas on that line got hurt too for the Niners. I don't know his status. He could be out as well, but, man, it's like the Giants are pathetic right now. Saquon Barkley, unfortunately, season-ending injury. They did sign Devontae Freeman, so if you're on a fantasy waiver wire, get you some Devontae Freeman in your life. I think I'm going to go with oh, man. The Giants are bad. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Although through the injuries, I do think that the 49ers are going to win still. If I had to take a fantasy player from their team, man, they're so beat up right now. I like Samuel Mostert, the running back. I like him as well. But, yeah, I think that you can play anyone versus this team. This Giants team is pathetic, man. Yeah. And for the Giants, I like Sterling Shepard. I would get Devontae Freeman if you can pick him up. He's a good flex player, if you're desperate at running back or if you need a running back too this week for all the injuries that are going on. He's definitely a good pickup for this week. So I do got San Francisco on the road. All right, next game we got Cincinnati versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 0-2. Carson Wentz has played some bad football right now. The Eagles are playing bad football as a team. The Bengals, they seem to be competitive in these games, but yeah, Joe Burrow, he's getting work, man. Both of these quarterbacks are getting under duress, man, for these games. But I like Philadelphia in this game. I think Philadelphia finally gets their first W. Yeah, man. For fantasy sakes, I would say, I don't know what you could do fantasy-wise with the Eagles, man. It's just they're so inconsistent. But Zach Ertz is always going to be there. Deshaun Jackson maybe. If you want to use him as a flex, I'm not for sure. But I would say for Cincinnati, man, I like Tyler Boyd, love Joe Mixon. I love all those guys on that team. Joe Burrow may be a good pickup this week too, because like I said, Philadelphia has been playing really bad, but they are at home. But I'm going to take Philadelphia over Cincinnati. All right, next matchup, we got the Houston Texans on the road versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am taking the Steelers in this matchup. Man, for all Will Fuller love, week 1, week 2, man, he didn't show up for anybody. I played a guy who had Will Fuller. He struggled. Deshaun Watson, he is getting rocked over there, getting worked. You can tell DeAndre Hopkins he's missing on this team, and that they miss him a lot. Man, for Pittsburgh Steelers, I love that pass rush. Bud Dupree and TJ Watt. I can't keep saying that every week, but James Conner, ladies and gentlemen, showed up last week, and much love to James Conner. Yeah, Juju Schuster-Smith is going to be out there. There's different kind of names out there. You got different kind of receivers out there. You got Washington. You got other guys on Pittsburgh that may show up. But I do have Pittsburgh winning this game. I think Pittsburgh's going to win it. If I had to take some fantasy players for both of these teams, I do expect Will Fuller to have a better week this week. David Johnson, perhaps. Definitely take the quarterbacks. Take Big Ben in this game if you have him for fantasy. If you don't have a better quarterback, say if it's Kirk Cousins or someone in that between route, I would definitely play Big Ben in that case. I think James Conner has another big week as well. So, yeah, shout out to these Pittsburgh Steelers, man. They are starting off strong this year. Next matchup, this is a quick one for me. The New York Jets versus the Indianapolis Colts. Give me the Colts in this and play everyone that has a player on the Colts. That means T.Y. Hilton. I could go down a list of how many players on that team. Mo Alley-Cox, ladies and gentlemen, the tight end, last week showed up. I should have picked him up. I may still pick him up. He was very good for them last week. That is a big dude. I am taking the Colts. I don't know who on the Jets I would play for fantasy. Maybe you guys can answer in the comments. I'm sorry, Jets fans, but there is nothing to look for now. I see the reports that fans are tired of Sam Darnold. So I am taking the Indianapolis Colts. All right, next matchup, we have the Carolina Panthers on the road versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And there was some breaking news about Tyrod Taylor and his situation being punctured in his lung, I believe, by the team doctor. I don't know what it was for injection, but that's another story. Justin Herbert looked very good last week in his rookie debut versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That was a divisional matchup. But Carolina got a lot to worry about, too, because, unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for a while. Looks like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not sure what the injury is, but yeah, that's very tough for them. But I do like in fantasy Mike Davis and the rookie running back. I'm sorry if I don't have his name, but Mike Davis is definitely a good back, flex player, running back 2 option if you don't have many running backs in your league available. Definitely get you some Mike Davis in your life. Yeah, man, he'll be my fantasy guy for them. But for the Colts, man, not for the Colts, for the Chargers, like I said, this team they got weapons. You got Keenan Allen. You got all these guys. You definitely want to play them. Eckler, Hunter Henry, ladies and gentlemen, showed up last week for me. Huge in my fantasy win. Him and Keenan Allen. So, yeah, man, definitely play those guys. And Justin Herbert, man, had a good week last week. And this is a weird game for him, but we'll see if he can bounce back, because I do believe he's going to be starting this week. All right, next matchup, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road versus the Denver Broncos. Once again, another injury-filled week for the Denver Broncos. Drew Lock is definitely out. Cortland Sutton is out for the season, I believe. Man, that's going to be a Tampa Bay win for me. Chris Godwin looks to be back. So Chris Godwin was in concussion protocol. I'm definitely going to go with Tampa Bay in this game. Like I said, I do like Ronald Jones like I did last week. Definitely start you some Mike Evans. He seems to be getting healthy. Chris Godwin is going to be back, so I definitely look at him. Maybe Gronk, man. I don't know if Gronk is going to have some plays. He's had a few chances to make some plays, but we'll see if Gronk can get going. For Denver, man, unfortunately, I like Jerry Jeudy. We'll see what Melvin Gordon looks like. Philip Lindsay is out as well. So, man, Denver's going to be slim pickings. I think Jeff Driscoll, the former Detroit Lions quarterback, is going to be starting for them. So, tough game. But I am going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that game. All right, next game, we got the Detroit Lions on the road versus the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be quick for me. I am taking the Arizona Cardinals. I'm loving what Kyler Murray is doing over there. You got DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. I think Christian Kirk may be a guy to look out for this week. Now, on Detroit side, you do get the return of Kevin Golladay, who is a fantasy guy. You definitely want to play him. This running back situation is going to be interesting with DeAndre Swift, Adrian Peterson. I'll play those guys, I think, depending on what you want. TJ Hawkinson definitely is a good tight end to play. I'm definitely going to take Arizona in this game. I don't have too much to say about that, but I am taking Arizona. All right, next matchup. This is going to be the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Dallas is on the road, and I know people know that I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but, last week was an impressive comeback. I'm not excited at the fact that they had to play like that just to get back into the game, but when this Dallas team offense is going, they got weapons. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Zeke Elliott, the list goes on. Tony Pollard, I've told you guys, play anybody from the Dallas, offense, because I do think that they can score. It just depends on who they're playing. Now, they're playing a tough team this week in the Seattle Seahawks. Now, if history serves me right, Dallas does pretty well playing on the road in Seattle. I believe back in 2014, the DeMarco Murray year, when DeMarco Murray was amazing, the Cowboys went up there and beat them. Now, Jamal Adams is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Russell Wilson right now is the MVP of the NFL. If you got him, if you got anybody on this Seattle offense, I would definitely advise you to start him, whether it's Chris Carson, DK Metcalf. Let's see, we got TJ Lockett, Tyler Lockett, I'm sorry. We have all kind of weapons on that Seattle team. And, man, this is a tough game for me. And I'm trying not to be biased, but for some odd reason, Dallas seems to show up in these kind of games. Now, defensively, I don't know the status of a lot of players on defense right now, and that's a little scary because congratulations to DeMarcus Lawrence. He, I believe his wife had their child today, if I'm not mistaken, but I think he'll be ready for the game. Now, Cheeto Awuzie, the cornerback, is going to be out, it looks like, which is very concerning because the secondary is already depleted. That means you're going to walk out there with Trevon Diggs. No Anthony Brown, looks like. Jordan Lewis and Worley, I believe. So, whew. Cowboys secondary looks a little beat up. Brandon Carr maybe get some snaps at safety. Joe Thomas played big last week, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to be biased probably on this one, but I think the Dallas Cowboys can win this game. I just think that these are the games that they show up for, and the ones they're supposed to win, like that Jets game last year, they'll lose it. But like I said, Russell Wilson, it wouldn't shock me if they get destroyed in this game too, but I'm taking the Cowboys. I do like Russell Wilson, though, man, to have a big fantasy week. I know people will be like, really, you're being biased, but hey, I got to pick my Cowboys, man. I think when I pick them, they actually win. So, yeah, I picked them last week, and, yeah, they won. So, the Sunday night game, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the New Orleans Saints. Green Bay on the road, headed to the Superdome. Man, Drew Brees didn't look good at all, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the rumblings are coming out again. Is he washed? Is he done? Whatever. No Michael Thomas, but we'll see if he's going to play this week. I'm pretty sure he's not. So I'm thinking as if he's not. Green Bay has a lot of injury issues too right now because Davante Adams had an injury in last week's game, who you guys know I adore. Love that dude, Davante Adams. I think he's one of the best receivers in football. I'm taking Green Bay in this game. I think Aaron Jones has a big game. If Davante plays, I think it helps. But Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I think is going to have a huge game. Man. For the Saints, Alvin Kamara is a definitely must play. Emmanuel Sanders, yeah, man. I don't know what else you could do here, but I think the tight end for the Saints should be a nice keep on that as well. But I am going to take the Green Bay Packers in this game. Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay. All right, that Monday night matchup, I think is the matchup of the week. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. We're talking about 1A, 1B for quarterbacks in the NFL. Or I would say at least two of the top three quarterbacks in the NFL, because I do have Russell Wilson as one of the three best quarterbacks in football, depending on where you rank him at. Right now, I think he's the best. Pat Mahomes obviously is the best from last year going into this year, but Russell Wilson this year has been the best quarterback so far. But we're talking about Lamar Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, versus Pat Mahomes. And, yeah, man, this is going to be a primetime matchup. Kansas City on the road versus Baltimore. This is going to be very interesting, but I am going to take the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not want to pick against the Baltimore Ravens and trust, but yeah, man, I like Kansas City's offense a lot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you have, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Robinson. You got all these weapons on that team. And then I look at Baltimore. Shout out to Hollywood Brown. He has done me well in fantasy. Mark Ingram had a nice little play last week where he scored a touchdown, did a little end zone celebration versus the Texans and everything. I do like that Baltimore team. And like I said, this is a pick'em game to me, honestly, but I just can't go against Kansas City in that offense. I know there's questions about their defense, but that offense is lethal. And it's going to be hard to beat that offense. It's going to be interesting to see what Baltimore does to keep up the score. But Lamar Jackson, I'm never going to doubt that dude. Fantasy-wise, I definitely say play Hollywood Brown. Mark Andrews definitely on Baltimore as well. Lamar Jackson, you got to play him, obviously. Mark Ingram had a pretty good week last week. So, you got a flex position you need to fill up because of all the injuries. He's a good option as well. Now, Kansas City, you play everybody. Sammy Watkins, you name the list of players. You just play them all because you don't know who's going to show up, but they all going to get some points. So, yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City in this game. So, those are my week 3 pick'ems. Once again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Give me some fantasy tips, man, because like I said, I got fantasy team stuff. If you guys know any sleepers on these teams, post them in the comments. Let me know what you think, and we're out.